save my farm and my family.
Alright, magic. So, let's see what this is about.
What troubles you, friend? Why won't the seer answer your call?
I know not, but without her drafts, my family is doomed.
Okay, so much for that.
The door is locked. Nobody's stirring within. Better look around.
Scroll of potent charms. Could you please stop crying? Thank you. Well, we know that charms were used by the Anglo-Saxons as well as by the Norsemen. What do we have here? Charm of crop blom, charm of blooming crops, so for fertile ground. We actually do have a charm, namely one of the 12 metrical... Oh, please be quiet. One of the 12 metrical charms. The first one, the Acrebot, that is against unfruitful land, so to make the ground fertile. Mix a woman's moon blood, prick a mistletoe, red loam and a horse's heart. Speak the name of the Aesir from the Veluspa while blessing the crops. Charm of war fever in a ram's skull, mix horse's blood and nightshade under Freya's moon. Drink the mix, chant the Berserker saga and wear the Berserk. But structure-wise, that actually is how charms work. We do have a situation. What is it for? Usually it's for something good, so against evil, against disease, for a good harvest. It has the ingredients, what is to mix, sprig of mistletoe, red loam, horse's heart, woman's moonblood, and then what is to be spoken aloud. Still, these two charms actually didn't exist. That we have to say, and it's a typical adaptation for, well, current audiences, I could say. Namely, we expect the Vikings, the Germanic tribes, to do something with blood, with sacrifice, sacrificing animals. We have a horse's heart, a ram's skull, horse's blood. This is basically contemporary point of view for a contemporary audience on the Anglo-Saxons. They usually mixed herbs and water, spoke their charms, they performed their charms as rituals. There was nothing about blood being used for any of the charms. We do have 6 charms against blood staunching, so to heal wounds, to stop bleeding, but none of the charms would actually use blood. This is our perception of that. So, let's see what this charm is about.
Blood leading away from the house. Something's amiss. What do you see, Sunan?
Well, actually not much. Let's follow the blood then. Yeah, let's basically follow the exclamation mark. That's easy enough.
I bear this pain with grace, Freya. But please, show me a sign.
Yes, here. So here we have the person performing the charms. That's also something that we can really assume of the time, that not everybody was allowed to perform charms, but only those that had the ability, that had learned how to perform the charms. It was important to gather the ingredients right, to, yeah, stop waving, I'm there in a second. Gather the ingredients correctly, to perform the charm correctly, to speak the versing correctly, so not everybody was doing that, so that we have a seer or some kind of wise person of the community. That's basically what we can really assume of the time. So let's help her.
You have my thanks, kind one.
Your wounds are grave. Should you not rest in bed? I'll carry you home.
It is no wound, but the blood is mine. I made the potion, Freya's blessing, to help the crops grow.
Blood mead.
Good, you know of it. From my pain, life springs. Please, help me to the clearing. The field needs the blood mead.
There's a farmer at your house who needs it as well. She waits desperately for your return.
Oh no, but my fields. If I fail in my task, the harvest is doomed. Please, bring me to the next bloodstone.
Okay, I'll do that in a second.
Seer!
The pain surges.
Yeah.
I must finish the ritual.
Okay, that was odd. The ritual she's talking about, that's also what we basically assume of charms. Charms were performed, they were performed by the people, by the pagans, and interestingly enough, written down by the clergy, by the monks. So they were usually spiced with Christian elements. Here we have the assumed pre-Christian version of that, using blood all over the place, but there is no written proof of that. We do have proof of the charms, the 12 metrical ones, in Anglo-Saxon literature, but they were all against evil. We have 3 charms against the stealing of cattle. We have a charm protecting the one speaking it, or the one who it is spoken for on journeys. We have charms against swarming of bees. And the Agabot for, or better to say, against unfertile ground. That's basically what she's performing here, to help the harvest grow. We really have charms about that, but they didn't contain blood. And before I carry her around, she mentioned blood mead. Interestingly enough, blood mead does exist in Old Norse sagas, but it hasn't any connection to charms. In Old Norse mythology, blood mead is mentioned, so we basically have, as a short wrap-up, in the very beginning of the old sagas, a war between 2, let's say, tribes of gods, the Aesir and the Vanir, and when the 2 sealed their truce, they both spit in a vat, and out of that spittle they created a man who was called Kvasir. And according to the Edda, he was extremely wise, he travelled far and wide, he taught the people about everything, he spread knowledge, and according to the myth, there was no question he couldn't answer at all. And one day he was unlucky enough to meet 2 dwarves, Fjallar and Gallar. Both of these dwarves killed Kvasir and they drained his blood. Yeah, okay, start carrying it around. They drained Kvasir's blood and mixed.
She could finish the rite, or I could bring her back to her house where the farmer waits.
So I help her perform the charm. Back to Kvasir, he met the 2 dwarves, and they killed him, drained his blood, and they mixed his blood with honey. And so here we have our mead. They created what the Edda calls blood mead. And it's also called the mead of poetry, granting great wisdom and turning anybody into a poet or scholar who drank from it. So the blood mead itself really is part of Northern mythology, still it's nowhere to be found in the charms. This is basically our creative freedom here. We expect the Vikings to be bloodthirsty and the pagan religion to deal with blood and sacrifice. So that's basically what we get here. Still the single elements, namely performing charms. How do I put it on the ground? This way. Performing charms and using them for everyday life to heal the ground, to heal persons. This is something we can assume from the time.
Are you strong enough to finish the ritual?
I am, though I must rest. Then I will chant and sow the blood mead. A task I must perform alone.
I understand. What else can I do?
You've done enough, and for that I thank you. But return in a few days and see the ripening fields.
I shall. Farewell, Sia.
May the gods watch over you, kind one. Farewell.
Yes, as a world event, there is the farmer still waiting up there. And as I said, we do have multiple charms being transmitted in written form, and this alone tells us that they were really important. They played part in the real life of the people in Anglo-Saxon and Old Norse times. Still, what we basically have here, the 2 charms to be read here, these 2, they didn't exist. The references are there, namely charms for a better harvest, a charm for war, fever. Well, this is what we expect of the Vikings, so it's a mixture out of reality and fiction that we do have here. Alright, now let's get to our next stage. Where the hell do I want to go or need to go?